I think a lot of them did the best they could. You know, even me, someone who grew up at a very difficult time, I didn't understand everything that was going on, and I still don't. But especially when you have parents that have to go to work and work hard all day long for someone else, then have to come home and take care of their kids. I remember one time in college, one of the questions I was in this class, and this guy asked is, what is it like for both parents to work? And there's so many kids in that class that say, well, my mother didn't work. My mother had no option but to work. And I think every kid that was in my class at Douglas at Douglas, both parents had to work. And by the time they got home, and it wasn't easy work. It was very hard work. So what they were trying to do for us is teach us that, for you have a better life, you had to be a good student. And you had to better yourself that way. It was a safe place for us. When we were in school, we didn't have to worry about, anybody walking into school and doing something crazy. A lot of kids stayed in school simply because they knew it was a safe place for them. Not that their homes weren't, but the parents knew that when they sent their kids to school, they were being taken care of. And I think that helped ease the parents' minds. It helped ease the kids' minds simply because we knew that this is where we needed to be to make things better for our community. Mm-hmm. And the community, was tight knit. It was. There's some folks from the south end, but most of the blacks lived in and around Douglas. But there's some others, like Leicester Street down here on South Loud and down in that area. But other than those other smaller communities, most of us lived out on the north end, and that's where we were, and that's where we took care of each other. I'm still learning about the legacy and the people that went to Douglas a long time ago that never got their just dues. There's a project going on right now where, Madison Briscoe. I don't know if you've ever heard of Madison Briscoe. Look him up. Okay, here's a guy who graduated before Douglas. He was at the black school here. And this man went to school at Storer College. I think he went to Storer. And he's a doctor of, I can't remember what it's called, but basically he created a serum to keep people safe overseas at war from insects and this and that and the other. And for a man from, Mary knows him. And Madison Briscoe, right? But he's one who, and then there's others, Rodman Turner, and I can't remember his brother's name, who basically worked down in Washington, D.C. There's a legacy, and there's just a lot of people. What's the family's name? There's a family of 6 doctors that grew up here in Winchester, Virginia. That basically, I didn't know anything about these people until probably about 5 or 6 years ago. My wife did some research on it and found out who they were. And basically, one of the ladies, they didn't go to Douglas. They went to school. They grew up here, and I think they might have went to Douglas for a short period of time. But they wanted more education, so they had to go to D.C. and go to school down there to get a 12-year high school diploma. And then from there, they went on to schools up in the northern part of the country. I think one of them went to Columbia. Some of them went to schools in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I think 3 or 4 of them were pharmacists, and I can't remember what the other ones were. But they're buried here in Winchester, and it's just Douglas has a legacy that we just still have not figured out what it is all about and who was there. There's a over at Mount Carmel Church, they have this list of all the blacks that fought in the war or were in the war during World War II. And, it's great to see things like that. But, for a lot of people, they don't know about these things. It would be hard to describe what Douglas really meant to me as a community person to get somebody else to know. I always say that if you didn't go through this, you wouldn't know what was going on. But, the pride that Douglas put in us to go on and better ourselves, I think that's the main thing. The pride that the teachers had in them and what they were doing, as community people. We are here to teach these children and better them. I think that's the one thing that I got out of it is this is what I wanted to do even when I went to Hanley. I want to better the younger people to give them an opportunity to be the best they possibly can be. And some of them picked up on that and went with it. Some of them were whatever. But, I always try to tell them, even in your darkest hour, you can always get better.